I disagree vehemently that this is the El Clasico. I can tell you it's going to be a pretty good damn game of Rainbow Six. This is just one of those situations where title versus substance, okay? That's the important thing. That's the tension here. Because you go back, and especially in recent history, well, the moment FaZe Furia happens, in my opinion, the moment that SI24 final happens, that's it. That's the matchup that everyone looks forward to. And you go look, 2023 Stage 1, Stage 2, 2024 Stage 1, 2024 Stage... I'm just doing the debate again. I'm just going to keep going here. 2024 Stage 2, everyone is like, FaZe Furia, FaZe Furia, FaZe Furia. In that time, Furia was always a little bit of a contender, except when we get to Stage 2. Half of those stages, Liquid aren't even a factor. The other half, really good. Their record has been too inconsistent for this to be an El Clasico. And I'm not going back... It doesn't matter about how... No, but I'm not going back to 2019 when Cameraman was on the roster to tell me that FaZe and Liquid are the El Clasico.
It doesn't matter because it is the El Clasico because of how many times it's been played.
Like,
it's one of the oldest fixtures that we have in Siege.
But why are we giving this, like, why are we prioritizing
We're not saying that it's going to be
hard?
The best game.
Yeah, so Tim just said El Clasico is about history. It's about story. Yeah, what better story than the greatest match in Rainbow Six history, dog? What are we talking about here? What? Tell me a top 5 match Liquid's been in right now.
SI Grand Finals against an IP.
Top 5? Top 5 match.
What do you mean by top 5?
Like top 5, like best match ever.
Yeah, that one. It was a great match.
That was a good match. I don't know top 5, but it was a great match.
I think it slips in that.
Maybe at number 5, but I know what number 1 is. I know what number 1 is. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we've talked enough about that.
Number 1 is Empire versus G2. That coastline though.
Anyway, round 1 should be mentioned, by the way. I did make this point seriously on the El Clasico, but there obviously have been quite a drastic set of roster changes on the side of Liquid in the past year or so, to the point where we have 2 new entries in this stage, Lenda and Dafo coming in, Nesk being the only remaining long-standing member, of course, on FaZe. Only thing that's changed is Cyber has added netcode to the end of his name, and other than that, it's the same 5 players as before. This is a team that is, a team on one side that is still looking for the recipe, still looking how to make a roster that lives up to the Liquid name, and on the other side, somebody who's fallen short quite heavily in the past year and a half by only coming 2nd in Brazil instead of 1st for the 5th time in a row.
Liquid starting off on the defense. We've got a couple of shields removed here and a lot of heart breach gone from that defensive side. FaZe are a team that can move with quite a lot of pace, and that's what we're going to be seeing out of Handy right now. Hasn't really wasted any time getting up into Rocket. Maya has got the very difficult task of playing in display room. You see that position played by all sorts of different operators. You can be quite flexible in how you want to play it. He's choosing to go for the Wamai, and it might be a good move, especially with the air jabs kicking around. He could soak up quite a bit of utility, Bs as well. You'd hope that he's able to play there for a little bit of time, and you can see the burns start to come through, but he's going to be in a world of hurt shortly.
There's so much utility being dumped in. Unfortunately, KDS is the one who gets the first pick. All guns trained on the single window. Nobody comes out alive. Vidaking with an impactless frag, and Liquid with all but a flawless round. In substance, to be sure, just only lacking the name.
Well, Liquid win a round.
That was a classic, let me tell you.
Don't even start.
Based it,
it's very difficult there for FaZe to try and mount anything. I was just replaying in my head, like, the sort of the flood through. They did a really good job of burning onto Maya, but the teamwork that was there from Liquid to assist in making sure that Maya wasn't just out on his own and there was immediately somebody there to watch it.
Yeah.
I think FaZe lacked a little bit of dimension there. We didn't really see any attention paid to the main breach. I'm not too sure if anything really happened in upstream. It was very much just a display window hop in and a walk up rocket stairs.
That's what I was thinking. It was very good setup from FaZe, but, I mean, Liquid, they were well aware of any potential gap that could be found in the setup they were putting forth, and you got 2 players hopping through a window, 2 guns trained on it, people watching Rocket as well. It's a difficult proposition for FaZe to come away with that. We'll see how things go in round 2. We go down to the basement. Handy bringing the Blitz. It's kind of the funny thing about, just gonna quickly take a step around the El Clasico argument. 2 of the best teams in Brazil in the past couple years, FaZe and Furia, is that neither really had a big shield player. Vidiking, well, that's technically not accurate. Vidiking obviously did play the Monty a lot, but I'm talking about a lot more kind of the rush way. We see a lot of teams have picked up the shield since about Manchester of last year. But some teams feel like they've had to, some teams have tried, and Handy certainly had a lot of classic moments on the Blitz, to be sure. See what kind of space he's able to create in this round as FaZe taking time to set up again. Clear some utility on the extremities early on. But if they want to go for a full clear, they'll have their work cut out for them. 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders all around the middle floor at the moment. Only leaves 1 on the site. But if they decide to face this extension, it is going to be quite a problem.
Bit of a decision to make here from FaZe, isn't there? Especially when they've already spent a minute. They've either got to very quickly deal with this roam game, and they've got the tools to do that, or they maybe want to try something a little bit more direct. Andy just prowling outside of the site at the moment, looking to make some sort of headway in. Liquid aren't being given any reason to move. Ness can create himself a nice little fortress here. There's a gunfight coming his way, almost certainly. They can just pop a Goyo canister. Liquid are playing very passively here.
Just waiting for the push, and you can't really argue with the strategy. This is the second time now that FaZe have just tried to base the bulk of their attacking strategy on one singular entrance, and Liquid have called their bluff. Just waited for them to push. They have the angles. Nesk even peeks behind the Blitz because he knows somebody's going to come in with a gun up behind him. It's not only good setup, it's just good target prioritization from Team Liquid. They know how to take these gunfights. They know when they're in these positions how best to work these angles and these moments to advantage them. Now you've completely dealt with the opposite side, and Cyber's in a position where he can get a kill like that, but he has to get kills like that for FaZe to claw back this round. Him and KDS might be able to make it work, slicing it quite nicely, though Maya gets the trade. Can start looking around. Oh, the timing. Cyber un-ADS'd. Such an unfortunate moment. Gives Maya a freebie, but Vidiking has that diffuser in 25 seconds. They'll likely have to bait a little bit, but Maya, Daffodil both wait. They force him off. He's got to reload. And Liquid are going to play passive. He might be able to isolate that 1v1, and indeed he does. But Maya was on a heater yesterday and hasn't looked like he's lost any steam going into day number 2. First 2 defenses go the way of Team Liquid without much recourse from FaZe.
There's been zero recourse, has there? This isn't the FaZe clan that we know and love. Where's the vert? Where are the multiple dimensions? They're trying to do a heck of a lot off the back of just a blitz at the moment. And Liquid's team play, regardless of how new together this roster is, it's looking fantastic. It's seriously on point. Nobody is being left to hang out to dry. Nesk there should have been dead, but support came and 2 kills were found by Liquid. Yeah, he gets taken out eventually, but damage has already been done at that point. I don't want to say that Liquid are breezing through this, but FaZe needs to seriously up the tempo. The result yesterday is very different to the team that they're playing up against today. They played ENX yesterday. It was 7-2. W7M played ENX today, and it was 7-2. That's not the mark of what we expect here inside of SAL.
Not the baseline.
We can't judge all the teams based on how well they beat ENX. You've got to be judged against your equals. And at the moment, Liquid are face-to-face with FaZe.
That's especially an invalid stat, because if we judged every team by whether they beat BNX out or ENX out, Fury actually would have gotten last stage instead of first.
Exactly. And you want to put them in the El Clasico. It's just hilarious.
Yes, I do want to call them the El Clasico. I'm telling you, go back and look at every single desk segment post SI24, and what are you going to see? Match the stage, match the stage, match the stage, match the stage. It's like I'm not even making the argument. The desk
No, but I
is.
agree.
You are.
I agree that's match of the stage. Like, but this is still the El Clasico, just because that's what it's been called for the longest time.
Oh, okay. So sorry, because it's been called for the longest time. Of course, that means we have to keep calling it that.
No, but why can't we call it? I would rather call. I think the match of the stage sounds a lot better than the El Clasico.
I think the El
Like, you know
Clasico
what you're
sounds much
getting.
better than the match of the stage.
Like, it's not the compliment that it's like built up to be. It's just a classic match because it's happened so many times.
But it's not a classic match. You're calling it the classic match.
Yeah,
That's what
it
El
is.
Clasico means. You're saying the classic, as in the
It is.
single. I'm not having this argument. I'm not doing this right now. Lenda's gonna smoke this guy. Good night.
Oh,
Another one
dear.
potentially. Oh my goodness! And 2 drones on top of that. What can this guy not do? We're gonna need to lend a hand to FaZe if they want a chance in this round, because half the time to go, and Azami is running rough shot all over them.
What do FaZe do from here? They've lost the Heart Breach. They've lost the Deimos.
What
2
the?
kills grabbed back very quickly. This is a little bit more like it. They've been able to punish a little bit of aggression there, which, let's be honest, we haven't seen that up until this point from FaZe. They've been a little bit lackadaisical, a little bit one-dimensional. It's an equal 3 versus 3 right now. And there's still plenty of tools available at FaZe's disposal. Bit of a flank drone for Viking to flick. I'm not sure how valuable that is. Maya somehow stays alive. With the way that Maya's been playing today, you can't be letting that opportunity of taking him out slip through your fingers. You know he's good for a kill given half a chance.
I'm not a fan of the way this looks. Hear the diffuser going down. Cyber falls off. Again, you hear those glasses. The warden's up. How are FaZe finding these kills? 3v5 to 3v2. Cyber's going to try to tuck in underneath the bunk and start moving us to the post. The threat of these vertical angles is still very real, but I think finally they depleted Liquid of all of these resources. Ness gets them both. So what Soul's going to do, drops down, hops over green. Info relayed, but there's no chance for Maya to work off this. And on the reduced HP, this is so good for Souls. Maybe the C4 can cause some concern, maybe buy Maya a little time. He's got a little bit. This little lip around the corner will give him a couple more seconds, so Souls pushes in deep. Forces off the Warden. There goes the utility, but Souls is so far back. But as the Warden wraps around, is he going to get that angle? Oh my god, he reacts in time! Maya's got the right play, but Souls is thinking a few steps ahead. FaZe pull back the 3v5.
Highest survival rate of any player inside of SAL in Stage 1. Souls is the player you want in a clutch. 5 1vx's. One of the best support players in the world. Proving it yet again there, giving FaZe their first round here tonight against Liquid. Real down to the wire stuff, though. First time Maya's actually died, by the way, in the series up to this point. FaZe, they know that it isn't good enough, though. 1 round out of the first 3 is not going to be something that they are too happy with, especially with the way that the first 2 rounds went down. They're going to use this time to take their time out and see if they can figure things out a little bit ahead of going through that rotation another time.
I have to say, these FaZe attacks have been so limited, Ollie. Through 1 door, 1 breach, 1 window.
I'm not too sure we've even seen him get like effective vert yet or not, because we still had Maya playing upstairs. Like, he was trying to deny the plant from above. Sure, he nearly died, but what's to say he doesn't get the kill from up there?
Well, and also, I mean, and to be fair to FaZe, that's not an uncommon way to deal with the vert on that site. We see plenty of teams just try and use the Capital, block the angles, or take the fights through the vert. So that's not even that site's just kind of weird. We see a lot of teams try to do that. It's just in conjunction with everything else. FaZe have been remarkably one-dimensional in these 3 rounds so far, and I have to imagine that's a reason they take this timeout, because the only reason they bring that back is because, obviously Souls clutches the 1v2, but because they managed to just kind of get engagements in the mid-round, win them, but there was never really a coordinated team effort to win that 3v5. And I'm sure there was communication, especially once we got to the 3v3 or the 3v2, to put that diffuser down. But to get it to that point, that felt a lot more happenstance and not completely in FaZe's control. We go back out to our 6 room. We did not have a shield, yet we still had a very rapid-fire single-window rush from FaZe. Let's see what they decide to do this time, because Handy has basically been playing, like, not exactly Operator Roulette, because he played Deimos twice, but he's basically brought all the Operator buzzwords, Deimos, Blitz, Deimos, Ying, all-powerful utility, and yet we've not seen much impact from it.
Yet to see him pick up a kill in this series so far. I would expect this to be a little bit of a slower roll from FaZe Clan right now. Got some great tools to try and deal with the defense that's going to be set up. There's no denial to speak of, so you don't need to go crazy on Heartbreach. Cyber's going to be able to basically just set and forget those Selmas as soon as they're out there. He's just a good player with an AK-12. He can make that work. Now the Rotero drones, just for the barbed wire, seems a little bit extreme, potentially, but it does open up an avenue for later on. Maya, just playing outside of display yet again, somewhere we saw him have a good bit of success, and he was bolstered quite significantly by Diaz, I think it was, deeper into the site. I expect that that little 1-2 combo is going to be employed again here if required. Cyber has made his way into Ops room at the moment and can start to open up some of these walls. Top of Rocket is going to be clear for them. Lender in the hot seat. You'll often see an Azami play here, but Azami was just banned out. So the Tachanka will have to do. He can still launch those Shumikas and buy a little bit of time. It's a really good choke point on that door straight into Master. And he's even got a shield to just dig a little bit deeper into. With the fact that no one's pushing through Skybridge, pocket reinforcements can be used as well. Everything again looking quite good for Liquid right now, and there's a mute jammer that's really slowing FaZe down.
These defenses have been very well put together. That's the highlight, or one of the 2 highlights for me throughout these first 4 rounds. Just very clear intention behind every utility placement. Everyone knows their positions and is not overplaying their hand. You can see how much trouble it's causing FaZe. The introduction to that Ying is almost necessary. It's probably one of the only operators that could break a team with this much discipline, and yet they still know they have the resources to send Nesk down below and go for a flank. But Cyber, thankful that he decides to flip around Rocket and watch that flank at that exact moment. He thinks he's found a nice pathing. As Maya pushes up, it's a trade, but all they need to do is just hold tight. Vidaking's in with the diffuser. Cyber on for 2. No clear advantage, but pistol in hand. On for the ace if Maya decides to feed himself to one of the best players in Brazil's history. I don't think technically an ace as one of them was down, but that, I believe, is all 5 for Cyber.
Cyber did exactly as I predicted. He set those Selmas down, and then he was just a good player with an AK-12 and the pistol. It's worth adding that little addendum onto the end there. Much better from FaZe. Liquid kind of getting caught a little bit flat-footed there. I thought, to be honest, with the way that FaZe were moving, they moved through the round and they moved through the map in the early portion very well. There was nothing that they had to sort of problem solve, or there was nothing really there to slow them down. Did a very good job of moving a lot quicker this time, and instead of just sort of full committing to a display hop in and a walk up rocket stairs, it just felt a little bit more thought through. That pushing through ops, getting the breach open, removing the player from behind Master Desk, they're all ticks in boxes, and it needs to be done often for a reason. Sure, you can get away with a little hopping every now and then, but Liquid look very well drilled, and they're going to be. There's going to be that honeymoon period when new players have joined the roster, and everyone's really keen to scrim and practice and really grind it all out. It's all new, it's all fresh, it's exciting. So I expect them to be very good and very hot on these defensive rounds and where that utility's placed, and so far that's what we've seen, right, Lynx?
I would agree. I think it's important to point out that round 3 was a 3v5, and that round was, the entry only came at 40 seconds, and all of it was Cyber kind of finding a path through the site and getting every single kill in that round. It's just the reality of things. But it's 2 rounds on the attack, and maybe that'll be enough. 3 was not enough for Black Dragons on Skyscraper, so who knows what we might see on Lair. at least here. We don't have any necessarily standout ops. I'd say Grim is maybe the biggest contender, but no shields, no Ying. Maybe FaZe trying to return a bit more just to letting the positioning do the talking. Lenda has a few words exchanged with the 556, or 552, excuse me, and unfortunately that argument doesn't go his way. There's a lot of vertical presence by Team Liquid last time. I think 4 players on that second floor. I have a couple here. I imagine they're going to be feeling a little more worried about how long they stay up top. Indeed, maybe they should have worried a little bit more. Handy takes down Maya, and so only Daffodil and Nesk are 2 survivors of this 4-man roam. You're in that tricky spot where you want to fall back. You don't want to be the player that makes this a 2v5, but you don't have any good options. If you just go and play the site with 1:33 left, FaZe will set up, and you're just not winning that. So you need to try to get aggressive, try to make some kind of play when the second call goes out. That's the exact kind of initiative that utility is meant to stop.
Bit of a nightmare position. Daffo will find one onto Souls. But again, with the man count advantage, that's intel. The Okabe calls have just been used as well. FNAT's starting to pop up as well for Daffo. He's likely going to have to stay there right now. He finds another onto Cyber. Oh, this has flipped it on its head. FaZe unable to deal with a couple of roamers. They really needed to push him together. Because now there's 50 seconds and the rest of FaZe are stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do? Do they continue to throw bodies at these roamers, or do they force the point on the site?
And if you force the point on the site, you know Daffodil's in the wind. The moment you go to commit, he could walk down any of these staircases, and then you're completely disrupted. Daffodil's got to be careful not to push this too early, but at the same time, he can't wait too long. It's a difficult game to play on either side. But Nesk is able to take down KDS the moment FaZe set their foot inside a basement. The pressure might not even be on Daffodil. It might be entirely on FaZe Clan, who have struggled with so many of these attacks. Even at 2-2, it's had to be individual efforts that put round 3 and 4 over the line for FaZe. With 5 seconds left, I don't even think they've got enough time to take these fights, let alone win them. Handy goes down. Same with Vidiking. It's all Liquid all day, even in the 3v5.
Worrying signs from FaZe, really, isn't it? Because some rounds, they're fantastic on attack, and every move they make looks really calculated, really well put together, and they come through as a team and get the win with a man count advantage to spare. And then other times, where they have tools to deal with roamers, we see people going one at a time. Like, this isn't the FaZe clan that we know and love. They're not a team that just throws single bodies at problems one by one until eventually either they win or they lose. They'll pinch that person together and play as a team. Really disjointed at the moment. Surprising to not see them commit to either one or the other. Either overwhelm Nesk on site or deal with Daffo and full commit to it. They have plenty of time. There have already been some very early engagements. As such, Liquid poised to take a 4-2 half. They've just got to solve this top floor. The 1-on-1 up here at the moment. We've seen a little bit of success. And they're opting to go here as opposed to that mid floor. Mid floor, of course, coming down to a 1 versus 1, Maya versus Souls in round 3. And feeling like they've got a bit of a better chance up here. Now they've dropped out the Tachanka. They brought in a mirror instead. Nest's gonna likely try and hold a little bit further into Ops room with that and just stop KDS from, stop Cyber from just being able to walk straight in and deal with the mute jammer and get the wall open. It's going to be a little bit more to deal with. And we've not really seen too much mirror, so it might not be something that FaZe have expected, especially if they've not spotted it in that prep phase, because it's not as if they've got something great to deal with it at range with.
I think we saw it on the first R6 room defense, but it did fall away in the second one after the Azami got banned. So a lot of the focus on that initial defense from Liquid was on the Kivas, which, I mean, fair, that probably caused the most active problems for FaZe's setup. But here, like you said, Nesk will have to take a more active stance with that mirror window, especially with the initiative Cyber was able to find on the op side in the previous go. Also, I would just favor Nesk in this position. Though Nesk against Cyber, I can tell you that's an El Clasico gunfight right there. Not even a joke. But it's a tight hold at the top floor. Liquid have been good so far about not overextending, and whenever you hold the top floor and the site's you know, not a whole lot of top-down vert you can play. You always see these very concentrated holds. Nobody trying to push too far up.
Moonjammers again just slowing down FaZe at the moment. Souls will be underneath to deal with that on the Deimos. Deimos shotgun fantastic to rip open that floor and deal with it. Ness, great kill there onto Cyber. He just gets caught floating in the middle of the doorway after opening the breach.
Not ideal. Not the kind of thing you want to see happen, especially with how instrumental he was for one of the 2-round victories FaZe have so far. VicADS waiting patiently for Nesk on the other side. Will move in, and wow. This is the kind of change you want to see from FaZe. They immediately take that opening in the wall, in the gunfights, but Diaz takes down the cover, but not the man with the diffuser. Handy moving in quick. Shotgun and pistol. CQC is the game being played. Souls holding Rocket with the M59, and nobody is retaking these corners. FaZe can just swing around and melt the opposition. Time is slipping away from Maya. With a shotgun around the corner, there's nothing to hold on to. Tie game at the half.
Trying to work out if Maya's just a beta or not. He's been last alive like 4 times so far.
Dude, I almost just... Oh my god. That was unexpected. I did not expect that.
I don't know, like he's just been... of the 3 rounds that Liquid have lost, he's been last alive.
Dude, thank God I did not. Thank God I waited a little bit to drink my water. trying to figure out if Maya's a beta or not. What?
Well, a 3-3. Good initiative taken from FaZe. They had a lot of pieces to the puzzle. But I noticed that Nest didn't actually place the mirror window down looking into Ops Room, which I find really strange because I was expecting him to sort of play that and maybe even play it with his life. He was able to pick up the kill on Cyber eventually, but then also kind of got caught just floating in and around main breach. Whereas the position that he'd retaken where the wall had been open, if he'd have stayed there and played tucked, he could have had a great swing onto anyone at the top of Rocket. That obviously wasn't the case. And FaZe taking the initiative and getting that plant down nice and early. The C4 just a little bit too late, showing again that they can operate at multiple levels. Bit of a tricky first half, honestly. I always find that when they're even, and especially when you get some sort of landslidey rounds that go either one way or the other. But FaZe managed to get it together in the end, so much so that we were able to walk away with 3. Now Liquid's turn to try their hand on the attack. A slightly different banning strategy straight out of the gate. Going to remove the Cade and the Azami this time. We saw Azami play for a couple of rounds previously when Liquid were on the defense. FaZe, on the other hand, they have chosen to remove the Capitao and the Monty. I'm not entirely sure how the Monty is going to, or the Monty ban, should say, would affect, because, as you mentioned, shield's often a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes, when the banned, it's maybe a little bit better because you end up with a gun in your hand, but time will certainly tell. At least we've got the Rora in round 7. Don't always get to see loads of Rora, but I know that it's something that we've seen, particularly SR use quite a lot inside of the NAL, and for attacking this bomb site as well.
Oh, true, yeah, attacking this site. I actually remember some now. Good call. See where Maya decides to place them. The more common thing that I always feel I see when we watch Liquid is somebody picking Deimos and going below. Nesk will do that in this case. Saw FaZe doing it last time. Ooh, just a little bit of a missed connection between Handy and Nesk. The former playing Rocket landing, the other moving around the bottom Rocket area at the moment. Not looking to fight Handy necessarily, instead trying to find information with those death marks, but at the same time, I think just trying to be a general nuisance. Using the M5 just to shoot holes beneath that mirror window to put a lot of pressure on Cyber, who's had to fall back completely. Maya has lost a lot of health due to that fadeaway C4 from Cyber, as Ness continues to rip up these floorboards. Gotta be careful. Those pellets can be a little bit random, but combined with some pressure in from Ops directly, Nesk from below secures the kill. But it's taken a lot of time just to even clear this one single mirror window.
I think credit to Nesk, because that 2-0 on the head-to-head versus Cyber tonight so far.
I think so.
He's really putting the work in. Mirror window can quickly be dealt with. It, of course, gives a nice little line of sight as well, especially with that soft wall open next to it. No need to waste a Selma on that. Instead, you can apply them straight onto the main breach. Andy just gets away from the bees there. Nesk does only have one player to track at the moment, and that's the Mirror. He's going to get a close range engagement right now. He swings that corner.
And man, Maya able to take down that player inside a bathroom, so no immediate engagement for Nesk to find. But because he's been so focused on that shotgun, he's got all 3 death marks. He doesn't have time to use all of them anymore. But that's big smoke. Right as the roar door closes, Vidiking just sneaks it in. And that's Diffuser on the opposite side. It might not seem major, but I don't think Nesk really has the time to go recover. It's certainly not the HP. He'll peek in, try to force the defense back so they have another opening. Revolver in hand, he takes down that smoke. Nesk on for 3 in one single chamber. Spins the wheel with only 2 seconds left. Can they find souls? He just manages it! Flicks that hammer and pulls that trigger right at the end. Nesk brings Liquid over the line.
4 kills for Nesk in that round, and I love that we got to see his point of view there where there was about 4 seconds left on the clock. He's sprinting toward the diffuser. He takes 2 steps and it's like, nope, never going to happen. We've got to turn around and nail souls right now, and he does just exactly that. He's like Terminator in the middle of the site right there. Think about the heat map of where he's been as well. He was underneath at the start of the round, managed to transition up through, avoided the engagement onto Handy. There was a lot of great play from the denial on the side of FaZe with those smoke canisters. As soon as Lender had fallen with the kit, with the position of it, FaZe should have been able to just stall the round out from that point and stay alive. But Nesk, as he often does, has other plans. 11-5 right now. Really leading from the front.
Really strong performance from Nesk today.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's his first multi-frag of the game, or at least more than a triple kill. Saving all those revolver shots for the end worked very nicely for Liquid's chances. But still did come down to where he had to do that about face and suddenly take a fight against Souls with only 1 second remaining. Cyber hears it. He hears that player go on rappel, but how aggressive is he going to be? That window's not prepped. So he can't just jump out right now, but I think he's hoping that somebody will start punching it, then he'll swing around. At least for the moment. DS Lucas usually takes a bit longer to get into the fray than that. So Cyber will prep it and wait here for the time being.
I feel like Cyber needs a bit of impact this round because there's been a few where he's just been shut out a little bit and we've not seen him go as crazy as we know he can. 7-6 at the moment, so no real cause for concern. He's still positive. But Nesk has definitely had his number in more than 1 round. And it just so happens that that's the target of the death mark straight away. Likely going to force Cyber back somewhat. ADS has to just dodge out of the way of the nade as well. Ooh, takes a good bit of damage there. Big chance right now. Oh, that flash timing was so unfortunate.
Oh! Maya, unfortunately, just looking a little close. The site covers the doorway and doesn't really give him an opportunity to catch Cyber pushing in. The UMP also hits Lenda a little bit, puts him low. DS trying to stave off that swing with a flash. I don't really know how Liquid can push forward at the moment. This 5v4 will likely remain solid for FaZe for at least the next 30 seconds unless Cyber decides to start peeking. DS is not outside that window anymore. He's pushed in, taking a more aggressive stance against that doorway. But in goes the Rotero. Oh, he knows he's there. He's made DS aware of that fact. The defense is pressed right up against the attack for the moment, and Liquid still struggling to find a way through. Cyber finally swings, but DS missing the opportunity, confirming the third, maybe, no, he's on for 4! Just has to knife that one, and he's spotted number 5. Is he going to do it again? He's already got 4 to his name. Just a few rounds ago for the one tap. No, and he steals it away. But twin 4Ks, that's enough for Cyber. 8 kills in 2 rounds. If there's anybody who can stop Nesk, it'll be him.
You say that, but he didn't take the last gunfight onto Nesk, even though it wouldn't have affected the outcome of the round.
Ooh, that's a good point.
And I think
Shake
that is a mental game right there. Nesk can take a little dub from that one. I love how I called Cyber out for like. I'd like him to have a bit of impact this round. I see him floating around a window at the start, and I'm just thinking, just don't do it. Like, please, just like we know what you get. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he pulls out 4 kills. And to be honest, barely moves his feet doing so as well.
Barely moves his gun.
It was just engagement after engagement after engagement. Dangerous player to let get online. And Liquid are going to take their time out ahead of round number 9 as we once again level things up 4 rounds apiece here. We've seen them have success attacking upstairs. We are yet to see them have success attacking elsewhere, and maybe that's going to be the content of the discussion at the moment, because let's be honest, it was a very fine margin that they won by. Basically no time remaining. Had to get the kill in the very second that Nesk was able to get it. And yeah, they get it over the line, but you don't want to be winning the game in that sort of a fashion. It needs to be a little bit more convincing than that. Back to the top floor we go.
And if based on how the lineups could turn out, this could be quite an entertaining set of engagements. We've got 2 shotguns on the defense at the moment, Vidiking and Handy. I've really enjoyed Nesk sticking that Deimos, and oh man, I did the thing.
Who's put Deimos? Who's put Nesk on gridlock from Deimos, by the way?
Okay, to be fair...
Like, he literally single-handedly won this round last time with the Vendetta.
Whoa. Simmer down there, Sparky. Let's chill out. Put those track stingers down at the beginning. Give him the F90 for the rest of the round. That's not a bad deal.
He would have lost that last round if he was a 3 armor. He would have been too slow.
Ooh. You actually got me on that one.
I don't know if it's true or not. I just made it up.
I don't know, but it was a second left. I mean, I don't know if you're right, but I can't say if you're wrong. But it's still the F90. Still a great gun. And like you talked about earlier with giving Cyber the AK-12, which honestly has been a common strategy for fraggers the past like 3-4 years now. Is like whenever Ace came out, it's like you throw your Selmas at the beginning and you have the AK-12 for the rest of the game. Similar thing here. He's already placed down 2. He'll probably places down the next 2 and then the next 45 seconds or so. Maybe saves 1 for the late round, and then he's just got, yeah, look, literally, all of them down within the first minute. And as Lenda pushes up this hallway with the Blackbeard, he is going to start tangling with some of the players I highlighted earlier, particularly Vidiking. Not as close with the shotgun, he's instead farther with the SMG-11, but it's positions like that you got to worry about.
Already deploying a couple of toxic babe canisters as well. A couple of nades going to go out, trying to catch him on the retreat back to site. That is going to require some form of hard breach to get through. And that's something that only Diaz has as a tin opener. Liquid going for a very different approach this time. They're not looking for getting in through ops room and working those rocket stairs as much. Instead, it's much more of a skybridge take. Do like Dafo's position below, but I think he has got no idea about Cyber right now. And that's a little bit dangerous. I think there is a drone. You can see Nesk. He's going to be flicking. There is a drone inside of security. But a lot relies on someone being on this drone at the right time.
ROU starting to go out as the floorboard is ripped open from underneath FaZe.
I think he knows, you know.
Who?
I think Dafo knows that Cyber's down there. And he was kind of trying to bait him out with the skeleton key a little bit because he keeps looking over to that position.
It's also just one of those things where, like, if Cyber's alive, you know this is the kind of thing he might try to do. You don't even know if he's going to do it. But if Cyber's up, this is the exact kind of thing he'd think about. And while you would theorize that maybe he knows, I think Daffodil's starting to get a little secure. Nesk certainly isn't. He's gone down. And so Daffodil being so isolated and Cyber waiting so long, he's going at this from an alternative angle, yet Daffodil still checks and falls all the same. It's been a much slower fall for Liquid, unfortunately. Lenda got in early with that shield, but as the C4 flies out, his support gets detonated, sent sky high. Few shots from behind the desk, and that's all she wrote in round 9. FaZe with a very strong offensive, never feeling pressured.
Yeah, FaZe very comfortable there. Everything about that setup lent itself to being switched around to deal with somebody coming through from that Skybridge side. I think Cyber's played it from below fantastically. There was a time where I thought he was going to get 2 kills with his C4 because there was a couple of bodies up above him. I think he had it ripped and sent it, but it was Handy that got the C4 kill in that round. Nice little slippy play, and a lot enabled, of course, by the fact that FaZe were able to get that opening pick. It just takes all the pressure off Cyber then, because if the opening pick goes for Liquid, and Cyber's the one that's left downstairs, that C4 has to hit, and it has to stop the plant from going down, or it's got to get a couple of bodies, and he then has to rotate up on Mirror, which is a little bit slow. So a bit of a risky play, but one that paid off. And as Cyber's warmed into this game, I think he was he 7-6 only a couple of rounds ago. He's now 12-6, hasn't died. They still picked up 5 kills. Big contribution.
That's the thing with best of ones. I think we actually said this. I don't remember what game it was in NA, but it's like the thing about best of ones is like you could have like only a 50% cost, but if you get a 4K in half the rounds, like you probably just bought your team to win.
Yeah.
So it's like Cyber has 12 kills. 8 of them came in 2 rounds. Sure, that's not ideal, but he bought his team 2 rounds in a game where they're only ahead by 1. That kind of thing matters a lot.
Oh yeah.
So these notes having consistent impact, just like a kill here, a kill there. Yeah, that could be a big problem. But there's unfortunately going to be a bigger problem, Ollie, because we have a first floor site, and that means we're going to have a vert hole. And that means we're going to have to see an attack try to deal with a vert hole on layer. I've still not seen I've still not seen a team find a good solution for this across any region so far.
No, it's there are things you can do, but there's no one-size-fits-all solution, is there? A lot of it depends. Typically, a Capital can be good. Obviously, Capital's banned. Sense is okay for sort of blocking horizontal lines of sight, but when you look down on it, you're just looking down on a wall. You can see either side of it, so it doesn't really do the same job.
Oh, that's
no good. That's a consequence of why am I just not being played for so long. Now seeing a real increase in pick rate, you forget that things like Selmas and all that sort of stuff get trapped in those magnets. Losing to Selma here is pretty devastating. We've no tin openers to back up on. That could mean that the site is not going to be, well, it is going to mean that the site isn't as opened as Liquid would have liked. And that's going to force some single doorway pushes, but when Lenda hits shots like that onto Cyber, curious Cyber in the site, just peeking out there and paying the ultimate price.
Yeah, you gotta learn to keep your nose where it belongs. Lenda teaches Cyber that lesson, but this is the thing. That was the guy on the site. Now there's still 4 up top, and it's that part of the equation that always seems to trip the attack up. There's not a single person down here. Everybody is on the vert. They even got a Solus. In the year of our Lord 2025, they have a Solus spotting this diffuser, just spotting the tight angle. Maya just catching him in the nick of time. It's reactions like that that might just keep Liquid in the contest. Because these vertical angles don't matter all that much. He flicks up, pushes Handy off, and now what does FaZe do? These vertical angles work great when you're stopping the plant from going down, but once you have to fall back and go for the retake, and the site is in control of the entire attack, unhurt whatsoever. I don't know what Souls and KDS can do here, but they're running out of time to figure out even the imperfect solutions. Maya stabs KDS in the back, and Daffodil shoots Souls in the face. Flawless for Liquid to tie things up.
Seen a couple of knives tonight, haven't we? They don't always get treated. The players getting that up close and personal.
Like 3, I want to say.
Now, what are we saying? Did Liquid deal with that well? In the fact that there was vertical players and they just totally ignored vert, killed the site player, walked in and planted? Or did FaZe drop the ball? Because FaZe had a lot of tools that they could... Like you say, they brought bloody Solus. Like, we don't see that. When Solis turned on the gadget and I can just see all of the ROU projectors, I'm looking at, I'm like, huh, that's what it looks like. Because I don't think I've ever seen that.
I actually don't think I have either now that I think about it. I just haven't seen a Specchio scan in a little bit. I gotta say, by the way, you know, I might be loud, but I'm humble. I can recognize when I might be wrong. Quality of the matchup. Quality of the matchup supporting your side. I'll give you that. It's been a good match so far.
It really has, though. That's what you want between these two teams every time. I just want it to go max OT, round for round, no horrendous side swings, and it's what we've seen.
And the crazy thing is, still shorter than that ENX game.
Yeah, so true.
Come on, Cyber.
He just doesn't need to do it.
Fight that air. Oh,
he's going to find it.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Oh, if that had been a one-tap, I think I'd have lost my mind.
That'd have been, oh my goodness. He would have sent DS Lucas back to NA Challenger League. Shout out.
I love how you always drop the Lucas on it as well.
That's what I knew him as. DS Lucas.
He had that name on Liquid, I'm sure, for a time.
No, he's actually been
he's
actually been DS.Liquid for both stages.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm. He's been DS.Liquid. He was DS Lucas on I think every team before that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of it.
Either way, DS Lucas.Liquid I think would probably breach the character limit, so.
Yeah, it looks quite clean as it is, I think.
You got to economize. Anyway, speaking of economy, it's still ridiculous that Grim has a 5-shot surplus like that because Cyber spotted on the first and you still got 4 to send in after him. DS is trying to make sure that no more UMP shots get shot his way out of that window. Liquid generally is still trying to figure out how they want to play this attacking side. They've taken the vert, or at least can start to open up some of the vert, but the rest of the defense is downstairs, so probably still going to be a little bit before we see shots exchanged.
Yeah, we're getting towards the sharp end of the fixture now, aren't we? So we're going to start seeing teams just take a little bit more care over dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And so far, that's what we're getting, particularly in round 11. I'm not sure we've got to a minute with all 10 players alive yet, but it looks like it's going to be a possibility here. Some of the floor getting ripped open and a little bit of an angle potentially for Dafo to work with, but nothing significant. FaZe have built themselves a fortress right now. Castle barricades, mirror windows, they've got the works. And the more important thing for them right now is that they are still playing behind them with 45 seconds left. Brilliant Toxic Babe canister. No one's going to walk down those stairs anymore. You can forget about Bunk. It's not going to be a factor in this round. And Liquid know it. Forced into a really late rotation.
It's kind of crazy, too, because Maya still has both Ash charges. Prime utility right there. That whatever got caught by the magnet was not one of those. But because you have to wait that time, because Soul's just expended that 1 bit of utility, it's a full rotation. Yet the angles seem to be working. Nesk and Lenda 5v3, they're running out of time. If FaZe start rotating into these off spots, Liquid could still get tripped up, but they've at least made it down to the site. I thought Cyber got that kill, and I was about to lose my damn mind. But it's still Liquid, unfortunately, losing the momentum, because with so little work done, there is a mountain to overcome, and FaZe just have to remain calm. 6-5, Matt Point on Lair.
FaZe guaranteeing themselves points out of the fixture. It will be a very nice start to stage 2 if they get 6 points in the first week. Liquid, they've used their tactical timeout. They've got nowhere to look but inward toward themselves. Real strange utility usage. FaZe knew what the win condition there was, and it was just starve them out. You got a smoke playing behind a mirror window with a castle barricade to back him up, like, and that isn't dealt with at 40 seconds. Forget about it. You are not walking down Bunk. There was a glimmer of hope when Liquid went for the rotate and picked up 2, but the time just not being enough. That kit needed to start going down, and it needed to stay going down to extend that timer, and Dafo just did not have the space to do that. FaZe back up to this top floor for what could be the final round of the evening.
10 seconds to go.
Could be. As FaZe have had a much more consistent momentum. They've also won this site previously. Only one that Liquid have won uncontested is Bunks and Briefing, and even that looked a little shaky. With Maya needing to win a fight on the vert angle just to stop FaZe from fully keeping a lid on the diffuser. Cyber again, the bulk of his kills coming in only 2 rounds, but with how close this game has been, 6-5, if Cyber doesn't get 2 4Ks, this game might be a 7-4 for Liquid. And in the best of one especially, that's the difference just one single player can make. To contrast that, I think Nesk has cooled off a little bit since round 7. Maya's not having the day he was yesterday, though I think he had 12 kills, 14 kills against W7M. It's FaZe instead holding on. The utility clear from Liquid is the defining feature to start. Just trying to give them more options. Clear rocket, clear the halls. That way, once you get to that minute 30 mark, you can start making decisions.
Nesk as well is going to be a little bit quiet over the last couple of rounds.
And this one too.
Ooh, that could be the defining engagement. Nesk might be up on the map as a whole, but that could be a very important kill. Not really for the utility, like, yeah, the Bs are nice to have, but to take Nesk out of the equation when arguably Liquid need him the most could be massive. Maya, is patience going to pay off right now?
One thing I've noticed, Ollie, Liquid getting caught up on these magnets quite a bit. A lot of important utility, that smoke, as Selma before. Will they get caught up on the gunfights? Not against Handy, not against KDS, that's for damn sure. Daffodil isolates both those 1v1s, so Vidaking maybe will look to trade, but unfortunately too far back. It's instead the Menace himself to cast a long shadow across Bathroom Hall. Could swing out with that Vector and make Daffodil's life very problematic. Mirror window trained on the default position, as it seems where Liquid want to put that diffuser. They don't have to commit. They've got 50 seconds. They've got the advantage. They are not locked into an option, but they will move in. The smoke goes out, but is it a little late? No, right on time. Forces Lenda off. Souls has worked his way up. Use that cover. DS downed in the process. I was about to say, seems like a peek from Newbridge, and nobody in a position to pick him up. So both the diffuser and the bulk of the cover all on op side at the moment, save for one player rotating over to Bathroom. But Vidaking just takes a little peek. Has a gander and cuts down Lenda in the process, but Maya pushing deep has got to take the fight. And Daffodil, who started this off, who brought Liquid back into the race, just has to land a couple shots, and he trades! Vidaking still wins gunfights like that 2 years on, and shuts Liquid out 7-5 on Lair.